had cast out 7 demons. And she went and told them that had been with him as they mourned and wept. And they, when they heard that he was alive and had been seen of her, believed it not. After that he appeared in another form unto 2 of them as they walked and went into the country. And they went and told it unto the residue, neither believed neither they them. Afterward he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at dinner, and upbraided them and their unbelief and hardened of heart, because they believed not which had seen him after he had risen. And he said unto them, Go ye into the world, unto all the world, and preach the glad tidings to every creature. He that believeth and is immersed shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name they shall cast out demons. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. Yahweh working with them and confirming the word and the signs following. That was Mark the 16th chapter.
A couple announcements before we continue. Please silence all cell phones and any other electrical devices. There'll be a business meeting on Sunday, May 7th after class. There's an order form on the table for event DVD sets. The cost is $30. Please see Kenyatta.
Good afternoon. Oh, and I'm happy to be here one more time. Now we allows it. And happy and hopeful to be used as a vessel, because you know, it's nothing that we can say on our own, you know, or make up or anything like that. You know, as they do. As we did and they continue to do in the world, you know, man goes with his imagination, you know, or tries to figure out educationally, or he claims that, you know, God has sent him, but we can see that there's a lot of chaos and confusion in the world, and that's what he brought us out of, and I'm so thankful for that. And you know, you need a guide. You need a guide, and that's what this class is all about. It's also, you know, Henry Clifford Kinley. You see, he was able to shed light on this book we call the Bible. You know, the Old and New Testament. He was able to, you know, bring it all together. His vision encompassing Moses and John's vision, and the thing that he was able to do that with is this pattern. You see, we have a pattern down here that we always talk about. We never. I don't think there's a class out there, you know, in the institute. Hopefully, you know, the way it was originally taught, and hopefully even the progressives are still sticking with a pattern. I mean, because it is truly the only way that you can, you know, be led to something that is true and real and spiritual. You know, the pattern, as the moderator tells you, is shown to Moses in in the wilderness of Mount Sinai, and even before the wilderness of Mount Sinai, the pattern was in effect. You know, and that had to be shown. That was shown to Moses. He's accredited with the first 5 books of the Bible called the Law. But I mean, even before the children of Israel were released from Egypt, you see, out of the darkness and the chaos and confusion where there were many gods and Pharaoh was the head honcho, even before they, and they cried out, being under severe taskmasters. Even before that, you had Noah's Ark, you see, where you had to have an escape, but once again from a dark, chaotic place, where things were they didn't know Yahweh. They didn't know and weren't worshiping Yahweh as he, would have liked. The mankind his thoughts were evil continually. And, with his thoughts, with his imaginations, whatever they thought Yahweh was, that's what they went with. But we find out that Noah's Ark, well, that's threefold structure too, and that was revealed through Noah. You see, Yahweh revealed that through Noah, done into in hindsight, we find out that you see, Elohim is the archetype original pattern of the universe, and that's what this structure here, this tabernacle pattern, that's what it is a reflect of. You see, it's like we said, it's a most holy place, holy place in the court round about, three yet one. You see, and so no coincidence, but a correlation that Noah's Ark was threefold. With the lower story, middle story, and upper story. What? One door and one window. You see, testifying again to this guide. This is a guide.
Yeah.
It's written on this chart. Elohim, the archetype, original pattern of the universe. So that means the universe was patterned after its creator. You see.
You want the ark or anything on the ark?
Yeah, you can. Genesis 6:16. You can get that.
Genesis 6 and I'll start at 13.
Okay.
And Yahweh Elohim said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth.
Right, now the earth is filled with violence through the, and keep going, there's a, to get to the,
16. Well, okay. Make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make them. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in the cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof. Therefore with lower, second, and third stories thou shalt make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die.
okay, that's great. And then, wow, he said, and see, this is Yahweh speaking here. So he's the one who made the ark.
Yep.
He gave the vision, and and have some faith and confidence in that vision that was given to Noah, and then and had to build that ark exactly like Yahweh had showed him, and therefore, because you didn't want a man saying, well, I know how to do this and I know how to do that, then the thing drown, start to hit something and drown, puncture it, it's a whole bad scenario. But nevertheless, when Yahweh speaks, his word is always realized, it's always made, it's never void. You see, it always comes back. He's omnipotent, you see, all powerful. You see, so when he speaks, it behooves us to listen. And he provides the witnesses. Well, it never rained, well, now it's going to rain. What do you need this boat for? Well, now we see you need a boat, And he provided a way of escape, you see, because that age was destroyed. And he talked about violence. You see, the earth was filled with violence. So,
Yes.
And we see that same thing down here today. The earth filled with violence.
Right.
Now you need an ark, but he's not going to flood the earth anymore. You don't need a boat, but you do need an ark of safety.
Right.
And that's where that threefold ark is testifying of the threefold unity of the Spirit. You need that ark of safety within you. As a matter of fact, get the scripture where in him we live, move, and have our being.
Right.
You need to be, you're inside him, and then he's outside of you all around, you see. So that ark of safety is Yahweh in you and all and all the threefold witnesses that he has provided, which is innumerable. We can't even count them. We go through some, whatever was shown to us in this class, but that ark of safety are those witnesses which he has provided, and it's also talking about his death, burial, and resurrection. But now we know that with this unity of the Spirit thing too here, we were confused before we came into class. No man had seen God at any time. And then Moses saw God, and 70 of the elders, and they described him, and we thought we couldn't know anything about God. Well, you can know something about God, including his real name,
Right.
his true and proper name. We're going to find out. God is a title, Lord and God are titles, and they have been erroneously substituted, you see, for the true names and title of the Heavenly Father. And we have to use those true names and titles, because if we don't, again, you just fall. You're in a blinded situation. You're blindsided with erroneous doctrine.
Right.
Basically, that's all I can call it. Really, they call it whatever they want to, but it's erroneous doctrine, and we can't gain or gather anything from it. But we find out that through vision and revelation, you see that Yahweh, the source and substance, you see, limits and bounds of all things. You see, he is spirit, and we find out matter, the spirit materialized.
Right.
That's huge. Matter is spirit materialized, so that spirit has the power to take on shape and form, or transmute in part. And not all of the spirit. You wouldn't know how to. There's no way to even total this. Put a totality on this, or a limit on this. So him coming down, and he has to come down and take on shape and form in part. You see, it's nothing. He doesn't lose anything.
There you go.
But he is in set shape and form, so that he's seen in visions and revelation. You see, and then this Elohistic form, known as Elohim, the archetype of reader of the passage. This is what he showed to Moses. You see, and showed Moses the creation of the world, in 6 solar days. It was in eternity, but this is the time that it was set on Moses' vision, as far as how long were you up there, as far as, because the sun and moon and stars, that's already going on. It's not the start. It's not the beginning of the time. So the time has already been going on, so that they can count days and whatnot. So anyway, these 6 solar days, he shows Moses' creation. But the thing is, Elohim, who we said Moses saw him, but we said that spirit is materialized. It can take even a lesser shape and form. You see, it is a creation, but most important as Yahshua Messiah, you see, especially prepared body and especially prepared sacrifice. You see, as we said, the world is evil continually, so we need a sacrifice. That's what this whole story is based upon. As this high priest would function, you see, in this tabernacle pattern. You see, he had to offer up, for 1,500 years, they offered up sacrifices, you see,
Right.
for their sins, and they offered up for they were different type of sacrifices, burnt offerings, peace offerings, all that kind of stuff. You know, voluntary, offerings. But for 1,500 years they did that, and they had to offer up those sacrifices. So that's that thing that is pointing to Yahshua Messiah. You see, who was that concrete state of spirit. You see, it's not. That wasn't from Joseph's sperm and Mary's ovum.
That's right.
Or anything like that. It didn't happen that way. That's why it's so important. Matter is spirit materialized. He's the bread that has come down from heaven.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and what? The sacrifice, as in a burnt sacrifice. This sacrifice, his body that was talking about in Mark 16. They came to look for the body, you see, but the body had been stolen. Now they said the body had been stolen because they were unbelievers.
Right.
And they had devised a lie, and they wanted to keep. Now this is the Jews, his brethren, as he walked around in the flesh, who devised this lie. You see, but why? Because they want to keep offering up sacrifices. And I thought about that. He's the true sacrifice.
That's right.
But after his death and burial and his resurrection, they want to keep offering up sacrifices. So then they go about to kill the other witnesses. They want to make a sacrifice out of Peter, James, and the rest of them. They put Peter in jail, cut James' head off, and want to put Peter in jail. They sought to do the same with him. So they want to keep offering up sacrifices here. They want to keep this thing going, although he said he was going to fulfill this whole thing here, this law. Again, for 1,500 years they did it, so they done fell into a habit of thinking that this is the way to worship Yahweh. For Yahweh is spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in the spirit and the truth. So, they want to continue. Now he bought this out. Jeremiah 31:31, he took this out of the way, nailed it to the cross. But again, they continually want to perform these sacrifices. You see, denying that there was a true sacrifice, or atonement to sin. So with this, if we do that, we're still in our sins. Of course, it was given to Jews and Jews only. And we wasn't even invited to the party. Right. That a false sacrifice after the Messiah, they want to keep giving you some. Whatever it is, you're going to need a pattern. I'm a truck driver. I need a pattern and a guide to get to where I am. When we started out, I say this a lot all the time. When we started out, we had maps, and then we went from maps to actually it had to end up in your head. Basically that guiding light or that map or the pattern of what to lead you around the city, around the state, around the country, around the world. Some people fly, and I don't care if you're on a boat navigating somewhere. You gotta have some kind of compass, or that's all a type and a shadow of Yahweh Elohim, who is the again, the archetype original pattern of the universe. He's the true archetype,
right?
Or architect. So whatever. Again, now let's get John. I think we can get John 1:1, and and these things are confirmed. See, in the so-called New Testament, the erroneous we call New Testament,
right?
Since the New Testament is written in the heart and mind. You see, and not written with pen and ink. But
did you still want Acts? We live, move, and have our being.
Sure, you can get that.
That's Acts 17:28. For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said. For we are also his offspring.
That's right. We're also his